This is one of those whispers. She was the angel America couldn't stop watching. Men wanted her, but there was one man, not from the tabloids, not from her co-stars, who wanted something else. Not her fame, but her heart. He was a rising television actor from another hit series, charming, quiet, older than her by a decade. They met at a private ABC event in Beverly Hills. Witnesses said they spoke for hours that night, long after the champagne had gone flat and the cameras were packed away. By morning, she was seen leaving in his car. For months, the rumors built quietly. Farrah's mysterious late rehearsals, her sudden absences from the set, the way she'd vanish between takes only to return with her lipstick slightly smudged. Then came the photograph. A grainy shot taken outside a condominium in Malibu. A woman, blonde, laughing, unmistakable, and a man leaning in, hand on her waist, a kiss caught just before the flash went off. The man? Many swore it was Lee Majors' closest friend, a co-star from a rival network show. If true, it meant the world's most glamorous couple had just become Hollywood's most complicated triangle. ABC's publicity team moved fast. Phones were confiscated, press denied entry, and a quiet family vacation story was leaked to cover her absence from filming. But the damage was done. The tabloids called it the angel's fall. And Farrah, the face that had launched 1,000,000 posters, was suddenly at the center of the one headline she couldn't smile her way out of. They say the photo was destroyed. They say the man denied it. They say the truth never left Malibu. But those who were there, they still remember that summer, the night the brightest angel fell in love with the wrong man. By the fall of 1977, the rumor had already escaped the studio gates. No one said it aloud, but everyone in Hollywood knew. The golden angel of America's most beloved show had flown too close to the fire. ABC called it fabricated nonsense. Lee Majors called it private. But behind closed doors, those words were starting to sound like confessions. For years, Lee and Farrah had been television's golden couple, the $6 million man and the perfect woman. Their faces graced magazine covers. Their home on Mulholland Drive was the envy of Beverly Hills, and their marriage was sold to the public as a fairy tale built under the glow of studio lights. But inside, the fairy tale had already cracked. Friends said Lee had grown distant, consumed by work, fame, and the pressure of keeping up appearances. Farrah, meanwhile, felt like a butterfly trapped in a glass case, adored, displayed, but never truly free. Then came him, the man from Malibu. Not a superstar, not a rival, but something far more dangerous in Hollywood, a listener. Lee heard the whispers before the papers did. An anonymous phone call. A photo slipped under his door. And one night, after a rap party at Paramount, he confronted her. Neighbors heard the shouting, the sound of glass breaking, then silence. The next morning, Farrah didn't go home. Within days, ABC's press team went into overdrive. Farrah's publicist issued a carefully worded statement. Ms. Fawcett has decided to take time to focus on film opportunities. In truth, she had been quietly written out. The studio couldn't risk America's sweetheart being tainted by scandal. A contract clause was invoked. Moral integrity, they called it. And Farrah's angelic halo slipped away under the fluorescent light of a lawyer's office. She retreated from Los Angeles for a while, spending weeks alone in Palm Springs, away from the lenses that once worshipped her. Those who saw her then said she was quieter, different, her laughter softer, her gaze more distant, like a woman who'd seen how fragile fame could be when touched by real emotion. Lee stayed silent. ABC replaced her. The tabloids moved on to their next scandal. But Hollywood remembered, because behind every perfect poster girl is a truth the studio fears most. That beauty fades, that love disobeys contracts, and that even angels, when they fall, leave feathers the wind can never quite carry away. Time passed, and the whispers faded, as they always do in Hollywood. The cameras turned elsewhere. The magazines found new scandals to sell. But Farrah Fawcett never forgot what it felt like to lose everything she thought she was. For a while, she vanished. No red carpets. No interviews. Just the sound of ocean waves in Malibu, and the soft hum of a woman trying to remember who she'd been before the fame, before the angels, before the fall. Then one day, she returned, not as the smiling poster girl of 1976, but as something far more powerful, herself. Gone were the soft focus lights and carefully written scripts. In their place stood a woman who had learned that survival was its own kind of beauty. She began producing her own projects, choosing roles that reflected truth rather than perfection. And with every performance, every appearance, Farrah began to reclaim her name, not as a fantasy, but as a force. In the 1980s, she stunned the world with her raw, fearless portrayal in The Burning Bed, a role that silenced every critic who had ever dismissed her as just another pretty face. It wasn't just acting. It was confession. It was redemption. When asked once about the rumors that had followed her since Charlie's Angels, she didn't deny them. She simply smiled, looked into the camera, and said, "People will always talk. Let them. I'm still here." There was no bitterness in her voice, only grace, the kind that comes from knowing the price of truth and choosing to live with it anyway. Years later, when illness came, Farrah faced it the same way she faced Hollywood, with courage, elegance, and an almost spiritual calm. Even as her body weakened, her spirit only seemed to grow stronger. In her final documentary, Farrah's Story, she turned the camera on herself. No makeup, no filters, no pretense, just the truth. And maybe that's what made her unforgettable. Not the hair, not the smile, not even the legend of Charlie's Angels, but the courage to be human in a world that only wanted angels. When she passed away in 2009, the headlines called her the Eternal Beauty. But for those who truly knew, she was something rarer, a woman who fell, who broke, and who rose again, brighter for the cracks. Because sometimes, the most beautiful thing an angel can do is learn how to fly, without wings.